So, Ju,
Gina.
do you think that there are people around you that must always be right one?
Oh my gosh, yes.
You're listening to
Jom Sembang, Malaysia.
I think this topic is quite interesting, you know. It's like we almost always say that our seniors or our parents or the next generation before us always thinks that, hey, I eat salt longer than you, so I'm always right. And then they always expect us to do things that's always right. And then I realized that I do have a lot of people in my life that always insist that they are right, even though they might not be right.
I'm sure a lot of us have fair share of that also. But come, cerita sikit.
Yeah, so I just wanted to talk about this always being right thing, because always being right is actually an irrational way of thinking that always prove oneself lah. That's the definition of being right. So it's like not to say that you are right because it's right, but you want to prove that you are always right. We are coming from that kind of definition lah. Because I'm sure that if something is right, then we also want to say it's right lah, you know. And that's not making us some crazy person trying to insist on right lah. Okay, so I was thinking about this topic was because in the project that I'm currently working, there's this girl who's been doing admin for a long time.
Okay.
So there's a junior admin and senior admin. Okay, so junior admin one day came and said, Gina, tomorrow is my last day, I've resigned. And I was like, hey, out of nowhere, don't know where it came from. But I know the two of them hasn't been agreeing on administration processes or approaches lah. Okay, so I said, okay, fine. And I know that she could deliver stuff.
Okay.
So I said, okay, where are you going? No, maybe in the future we can work together, or I'm looking for volunteers for some of my project that requires admin and stuff like that. And she surprised me by point blank just texting, I can help you, okay? But I like to do things my way, and I can guarantee you I deliver on time. Just don't question the way I do things.
Ooh.
But I promise you that I can deliver it. So I'm like, oh, like suddenly I've never had someone slap it on my face, like, you know, write it so bluntly on the text.
But something must have recently happened that she's like adamant. You know how like you're gonna burn here and you're like, I'm never gonna do this again. Unless
Correct. So I figured maybe her senior is a little bit more of like I'm right all the time. You must do the admin paper like this. You must write your minutes like this.
Okay.
Or you must
micromanaging sikit lah.
Yeah. Do your Excel sheet like this and not a different way. And that's why she's telling me this lah. Because sometimes they send me an Excel sheet and then I'm like, it's a bit complicated. So instead of putting in the data, I will just send it in pointer form and ask them to put it in itself, because the Excel sheet is too complicated for me.
Oh, okay.
So she will have a different Excel sheet, and then the seniors will have a different Excel sheet, but it's for the same information. And I'm like, so complicated. All I needed to do was how many people is having dinner and how many t-shirts I need to buy. Okay, so those are some of the things that I find I want to explore is when you're in this kind of scenario. Is insisting that you're always right or doing things your way the good approach to go about?
It really depends, right? Like in a work situation, if you are forever bombarded with somebody who's demanding that they do it their own way, but you know it's not efficient, then eventually you will want to speak up. And I mean, how long can you give in to okay lah, your way. If it doesn't make sense, it like makes you do more work. Yeah, I think cannot lah. That's why she threw in the towel, right?
I think so. I don't know lah. It just appeared because we are not long-term project. It's just that one project off lah. But what is really interesting is also what you just said just now, reflect on both of us. Like I would do my Excel sheets like this.
Yeah.
But if I say, okay, this project you do Excel sheet, you will come out something else.
Yeah.
And then sometimes I look at it like, don't understand, got final figure carry.
Yeah.
You know, I think in a certain way, if it's important enough, I tell you, can you do a shit that I can understand?
Yeah.
Like, you know, what's the point of like you doing all these things and I cannot understand except for the final figure, which we have been through this before with one financial sheet, and I'm like, and then you try to change it and explain it, and after what, never mind, I just look at the total and I decide to let it go, because that project, I say, I trust you with finance, then you go and manage the thing, right? But if you say you trust me with finance, then I will say, I'm throwing your things out and redoing my way because I'm accountable to it.
Correct. So whoever it is who needs to be the main stakeholder for the thing should have the say lah.
Should have the say of what is their right way of doing it lah.
True
as long as you achieve the same goal and result lah.
Correct lah. But it can be a bit frustrating if, let's say, you have to fill in this very complicated sheet that doesn't make sense. to you every single day just because it makes sense to
Someone else.
to someone else, and you don't even know at the back of your mind. For me, right, if I was in that position, I might be thinking, why did they do it this way? Like, is it because it's just a template that,
Correct.
like all those things will be bugging you each and every day? No.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
yes,
yeah. So yeah lah. So after that, I just, because I even faced the same thing with their Excel sheet. So I went, here's the data, put it in yourself, because I had no freaking idea what's happening on your sheet, and I don't want to mess it up. Even though I'm the one leading the project, I say as long
Right.
as you can tell me how many people needs a t-shirt, I don't really care how you tabulate it to appear to that number.
But okay, I've had this situation when it's in a social setting, more of a, how some people always have an answer to everything.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like you talk about something and they will have an answer to it, and sometimes it becomes very tiring, and sometimes it kind of makes you feel like they're trying to be one up on you. I don't know if that's the case, or maybe that's just the way they are lah, huh?
Okay.
Maybe debater in school or what, So I remember there was once when this person, so every time it was like, if I say it's this one, then they'd be like, oh no, this one is something else, or it's not that, or have an answer. So one day I was like quite sure of this particular thing. I won't say what. I think it was why something was served, a drink was served this certain way, and what was the other utensil for, or something like that. So I remember like, I think it's that, So I also want to contribute to the conversation. I think it's for that, And it's like, oh no, it's not that. But I can't remember why. Oh, okay, never mind. So after that, no answer ma. So I call waiter lah. Like, actually, what's this for? Then when he answered, right, it was like, I was actually right the first time.
Okay.
And then the other person terdiam. Because the person had said I was wrong. So terdiam, but I don't rub it in lah. But for me, it's almost like sometimes you think you're mad, because everything that you say, other people
everything
always
that you
have
say,
other thing to say,
correct.
right?
Like you're always wrong. And then the person who always thinks that they are right makes you feel like you're always wrong.
Correct. The louder voice always wins lah. So for me in that particular moment, I kind of felt vindicated. Not like I wanted to gloat, but I just felt, okay. And then like we left it at that. But after the break, I can tell you a super big story of something like that one.
Okay. Today's episode is brought to you by CMate Communications. CMate Communications has been providing all our design need, communication need, as well as basically the marketing stuff lah. So if you like what you've been seeing on Jom Sembang Malaysia's punya thumbnail ke poster ke, search up CMate Communications, CMATE, on your Facebook page.
Okay, so here's the thing. One day we were at a fancy restaurant revolving, on the tower kind of thing, revolving restaurant.
Oh, something like the KL,
Something
Munara
like
KL, like that.
but not. I was at a table with a very eloquent speaker, okay? Like he stand up and talk, right? Wow, he will wow you with a lot of facts, a lot of new things, a lot of new theories.
Okay.
So it was me, and then he was sitting on the opposite round table. He was
Okay.
sitting on the opposite side, and then 10 lah. So there's another 8, 4 on my right, 4 on my left. And then dessert comes, right?
Okay.
Dessert was Sego Gula Melaka.
Okay.
And
Oh, Sego. I thought you said say go.
no,
Gula Melaka.
Sego pula. Sego.
For the first time,
Sago.
Normally you're the one who doing that to me. Just now I just went Sego. Okay, now back to the story.
So a conversation started about, how do they make this Sego?
Okay.
Right? So he started, this is made of tapioca. And then I'm like, no, wait. Sago is made from the sago tree. From the sago palm, the tree bark. I've seen how they make in Sarawak, right? You've got the cultural village there. Then you go in and then they show you how to scrape the... I was excitedly telling this story. They scrape the starch, and then after that, they have to sieve the thing. And I don't know. Actually, I don't know the whole process, but I know it comes from the sago tree bark. And then he goes, no way, Sago comes from tapioca, it's tapioca. And him being the eloquent speaker is like so convincing that it's tapioca that everybody was, it's tapioca, right? And I'm like I said just now, I felt like, am I going crazy? So after once, twice, I'm not the type that will assert this kind of thing, right? If you want to think it's tapioca, think like it's tapioca, no loss to me lah, huh? Although in that one moment, I really start to self-doubt, right? I'm like, but no, what? I went there, what? It's a sago tree, what? It is. Okay, but never mind, it's okay. Right? So we left it at that. But actually, this thing has been playing on the back of my mind lah.
Yeah, because it's almost like this person wanted to be right and then cycle the whole table to think that it's right.
Correct.
And then you are the only one sitting down there thinking, it's not right, but yeah, never mind, whatever.
So I went and Googled it after that. Just to console myself or like to be absolutely sure, right? And I discovered that actually in some countries they do make sago out of tapioca. So if you think of your boba tea is tapioca. But in some countries like say Brazil, not Singapore, Brazil, Australia, India, right? They actually do make sago out of tapioca. So actually, he was also right. I was also right. But if he had
Two
paused,
rights make
if he had paused to listen, he could have learned something and I could have learned something. But because he was like, no way, and I'm like, okay lah, you louder than me, you win lor.
normally that's the case lah. We always say that this is not me saying. A research shows that most people who always think that they are always right falls under the ESTJ personality. The extroverted, which is talk loud one, the S for sensing, T for thinking, and J for judging.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, so those who are ESTJ personality normally almost always think that they are always right. Also because they have a very judging kind of trait that
And very thinking,
doesn't help because they're also talking very loud. So you have other people who think that they are right who all like you tenggelam, like drown.
Guess what? I am the exact opposite of that. I am INFP.
So even if you think you're right, you'll be like, let me think it through
Yes.
a whole long process before you actually.
And I won't assert.
Yeah.
Because you can think you're right even if you're wrong. It doesn't matter to me. Unless it's life and death and I care for you. But yeah.
So I realized in my life, I do set a line where, okay lah, this one you think you want to be right, you guys go ahead lah. But some things I do fight for. So a very clear example is, for example, my dad, that day we had to go for a clan dinner.
Okay.
We were early lah. My family always try to be there 15 minutes early, right?
Yeah.
So even if we are traffic jam, we still on time one. Okay. But that particular place that we're going, he said, turn on the Waze lah. Actually, never turn on Waze one. We just drive. And then my mother said, it's at that Lake Garden, right? Then he's like, no, it's at Sri Aman. And then I said, hey, you all better Google the place because it's two different directions. So that's how we end up turning on the Waze.
Okay.
And the Waze says everywhere was traffic jam. So I said, okay, let's follow Waze because it has the nearest shortest route lah.
Yeah. Well, not shortest, but the quickest route lah.
So after that, I said, okay, according to Waze, you turn left here. Then he said, yeah, here looks a bit jam lah. In front, no jam lah, maybe. Then he go in front, it's 3 times worse the jam. Then he like, it's not supposed to jam. I don't know why it's jam. But this road is correct. Then I was like, if you have follow Waze, then it's the other side. Then we added 10 more minutes. Then, okay, as you go on, I said, okay, Waze said in front, you turn right. Then he said, normally it's in front 2 times, then you turn right. Then I said, because Waze said in front 2 times, jam. Then he said, yeah, today Saturday, no jam lah. Then my mom on the other side, just now jam what? Like, like trying to say that it's wrong. Then he said, no lah, just go. So says, you driver, I just read Waze. So you want to go, you go. So he went. So we did that 4 times throughout the whole drive, right? For the first time, we were 45 minutes late for the clan dinner.
Wow, that's unbelievable.
Yeah, I'm surprised we actually even arrived at dinner because people would have like halfway eaten or something, I'm like, oh, this is so impossible. But then my dad reached there and then all my relatives look at me and say, hey, so why you're so late? Then I said, don't ask. Then no lah, them should ask. They say, oh, my dad said, I was right. The road was right. It's just a lot of traffic. I was right. Then my mom, the other side, he now follow Waze. He's not right. And that's when I find that, okay, normally the driver drives, you like lah, do whatever you want, right?
Betul.
So for me, I told my mom, he can be stubborn that way, just let him be because he's the driver. But if I'm driving, I'll tell you, shut up, I'm going to drive the way I want to drive. So there are certain situations where you can insist you are right, even though you might not be right lah.
Yeah, because sometimes I've learned this recently. It's like, although other people might be shouting the instructions louder, at the end of the day, who is going to bear the consequence of your decision?
The louder right.
No, yourself what?
Correct. Then the consequences of the whole decision of the thing that they're right.
So for example, right, let's say I was in your position, right, and I wanted to follow Waze. But let's say backseat driver or navigator next door is saying, no, Waze is like leading you the wrong way. Go straight or take the other route, right? And I'm okay lah, cause keep peace ma, that's my nature. Okay lah, I'll follow lah. In the end, right, if it's a longer route, who are the people going to blame? The driver? No. You lah never listen to Waze, what? I get that before. You didn't follow Waze, but I'm like, but you're the one who say go straight. But no, because I chose to follow them, so I am wrong.
Correct.
And I am late, so I'm also double wrong. So it's like, although other people are insisting that they're right, in the end, the consequences is you are the only one that's going to gonna blame. So now I'm like, heck lah, I'm going to just do you want to say what.
So the person who always insists they are right would never admit that they made a mistake lah. Even though the mistake is very obvious to everyone, they will still think that it's just like that lah. That's the kind of attitude.
Is it an insecurity thing? Or is it just the character makeup? Or a lack of character?
I am not sure. So recently, I've been told that I'm quite dominant in a certain project. Okay, which that one I will agree because from the beginning, I could see the wrong ways. Okay, give you just a very quick breakdown of the story, right? So we have a designer who is 20 years my seniors who said, I can do this thing, but I have not touched the software for 20 years because I use a software that didn't exist when you enter the industry, okay?
Okay.
And I'm like, but then that software is non-existent in current industry.
Okay.
So I said, so you have two choices. You either let me do it or you can learn the software and do it lah. He said, no, I can learn very fast, very easy.
Okay.
Okay. So 3-4 months we started with that and I said, every 2 weeks I check in and say, hey, if it's too difficult, let me know. I need to take over early and not 3 days before the deadline. Very consistently telling them. And I really have the time to save your files properly, like save it according to date or revision, draft 1, draft 2, draft 3, that kind of stuff. But his is like, no, it always appear as 1.0 and then suddenly 0.1 or something. And we couldn't keep track of the drafts.
Okay, all right.
So there is an editor involved and an editor also cannot keep track. So she's already quite pissed.
Yeah.
She's like, can you follow the system that Gina says? Date your files, drop it into the folder according to the date and all that. And he said, no, what, easy, what? I just WhatsApp. So he will WhatsApp 20 files, 50 files. And we are like, if I'm in front of my computer, I will download everything and put it on the share folder that I created for everyone. And then the editor will be okay. But if in between and then you ask something 3 days later, so it was a mess that it reached a point where everyone was upset.
Okay.
And I, after that, blamed myself that I should have insisted when I knew that was the right way to do. We have a share folder, follow the folders, follow the date numbers. Because we have a big production, you cannot just send files here, there, and don't label properly, I remember his files is labeled as this, chosen 1. And then the next day it's like, chosen app 2. And I'm like, chosen app 2 is what? Oh, it's the poster. Chosen 1? Oh, it's the book cover. Like, can't you just label book cover?
Yeah.
The kind of stuff. So I learned a lesson when if the right way or I think the right way influence the entire team, I need to assert. Do it like, do it this way. You call me a bitch or whatever. Just do it this way so that nobody is affected.
Yeah.
Or no one have to bear all your consequences, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But if it's something that does not affect the team.
Yeah.
So for example, that admin girl, I don't care how you tabulate the t-shirt as long as I need to know how many t-shirt in total to order. Done. You want to do Excel sheet, you want to do sticker, you want to do how they collect t-shirt. I don't care as long as I know how many t-shirts. Then I will let it go. You can do it your way, your right way.
Because the end result is the end result that you need lah.
Correct. And it doesn't affect everybody's end result. So that is this lesson that I learned from this project. I will assert my right way if it affects the entire team. Not to say that is not respectful to you. It's like, okay, your way, my way, but I have to think of the bigger picture. And if everyone agree, we go. And not let the person who always thinks that he's right or say that he's right continue in that manner. Because otherwise we all suffer lah, which we did lah. 80% of it were like, I'm dying, like what's going on, So that is one lesson that I learned as a leader lah. So yeah, if after you listen to all this and you just think Gina is quite dominant, then maybe you should think about why certain thing is being insisted. If the person is actually in the correct state of mind and doesn't have that whole I must always be right person lah. But if this person like Juwita suddenly insisted that it's this way, then there must be a reason because she doesn't always insist that she's right.
Jom Sembang Malaysia is hosted by 2 Malaysians who are passionate about Malaysian stuff.
Stay tuned every week for a brand new Sembang session with Juwita Suwito and Gina Yap Layong.
Today's episode is recorded at Studio 2105.
Remember to click like and subscribe for the brand new episode next week.